I know my son. He ain't finished fucking with me.
Sometimes business and personal.
Breeze is not just making moves anymore, he's playing everyone, and if episode 7 goes the way it's being set up, this could be the exact moment he takes full control of the streets. Because while everyone is distracted by chaos, betrayal, and collapsing empires, Breeze is quietly building something much bigger. And the scariest part? Kanan might already be stepping right into his trap without even realizing it. Episode 7 isn't just another episode, this is the turning point where power shifts, loyalties break, and the future of the entire Power universe starts locking into place. And once it begins, there's no going back. To really understand why Episode 7 is about to shock everyone, we have to look at the bigger picture that Episode 6 quietly set in motion. Because on the surface, it looked like chaos, but underneath, it was all structure. Kanan getting beaten by Marvin wasn't just a moment of pain, it was a trigger. Something inside him finally snapped, and for the first time, he admitted that he's no longer afraid of anyone, only himself. That one line changes everything, because that's the exact mindset shift that turns Kanan into the version we know from Power. He's no longer reacting, he's evolving. And right when that transformation begins, Bree steps in at the perfect moment. Not forcing anything, not rushing, just watching, guiding, and slowly positioning Kanan exactly where he wants him. That's what makes Breeze dangerous. He doesn't need control in the loud, obvious way like Rock. He controls situations by understanding people, and right now, he understands Kanan better than anyone else. At the same time, Rock is losing grip on everything she built. Her drug supply chain is broken, her connections are unstable, and pressure is coming from every direction. Stefano is tightening control, forcing her into decisions she doesn't want to make, while enemies she thought were handled are starting to resurface. The more mistakes she's going to make. This isn't just pressure, that's exactly the kind of environment where someone like Breeze thrives. Because while Rock is trying to hold everything together, Breeze is quietly preparing to take it all. He doesn't need to attack her directly, he just needs to wait until she falls on her own. And Episode 7 feels like the moment where that fall truly begins. Meanwhile, the tension inside the Thomas family is reaching a breaking point. Marvin and Rock are barely holding things together after everything that's happened, especially with the emotional weight of Lou's death still hanging over them. There's no trust left, only frustration, guilt, and unresolved anger. And when a family like this starts breaking from the inside, it doesn't take much for everything to fall apart completely. One wrong move, one wrong decision, and it's over. Episode 7 is setting up that exact kind of moment, where the damage isn't just external anymore, it's internal, and that's always more dangerous. And then there's Jukebox, who might be sitting on the most explosive truth of all. Her investigation is getting closer to exposing things that were never meant to come out. With Detective Garcia helping her connect the dots, the truth about Crystal and Famous is starting to become clearer. And if Juke fully uncovers what really happened, it won't just create conflict, it will create war. Because the people involved aren't just random players, they're deeply connected to everything happening around her. If she decides to act on that truth, it could put her directly in danger, forcing her to make a choice that changes her entire path moving forward. And this could be the beginning of the version of Jukebox we eventually see, someone who trusts no one and plays by her own rules. All of this is happening at the same time. Kanan evolving, Rock collapsing, Juke uncovering truths, and Breeze quietly moving in the background. And that's why Episode 7 feels different. This isn't build-up anymore, this is execution. Every storyline is starting to collide, and once they do, there's no slowing it down. The streets are about to shift, power is about to change hands, and someone is going to come out on top. The only question is, who's really been planning for this all along? Now if Episode 7 really is the moment everything starts collapsing, then Breeze's plan is the one piece that could change the entire direction of the story. Because unlike everyone else, Breeze isn't reacting to problems, he's creating opportunities out of them. And if you look closely, every major event that just happened actually benefits him in some way. Rock losing control? That weakens the biggest power in the streets. The tension inside the Thomas family? That creates instability where there used to be structure. Kanan changing? That gives Breeze the perfect soldier to shape into something dangerous. None of this feels random anymore, it feels like a setup. The most important part of Breeze's strategy is patience. He's not trying to take over overnight, and that's exactly why he's so effective. While Rock built her empire through force and control, Breeze is building his through positioning and timing. He's letting everyone else make the noise while he quietly moves into the gaps they leave behind. And episode 7 could be the moment where those gaps become too big to ignore. Because once a system starts breaking, it doesn't take much for someone new to step in and take control. Breeze doesn't need to destroy Rock, he just needs to replace her. And this is where Kanan becomes the key to everything. Right now, Kanan is at his most vulnerable but also his most dangerous. He's dealing with pain, anger, and a complete shift in how he sees himself. That kind of mindset can either destroy someone, or turn them into exactly what Breeze needs. If Breeze continues guiding Kanan the way he has been, we could see Kanan fully commit to this new version of himself in episode 7. Not just talking about fear, but acting without it. And once that happens, there's no going back. That's when Kanan stops being a kid caught in the middle and starts becoming a real player in the game. But here's where things get even more intense. If Kanan fully aligns with Breeze, that creates a direct threat to Rock in a way she might not be ready for. Because this isn't just an enemy on the outside anymore, this is someone from inside her own circle starting to drift away. And Rock has always controlled things by keeping her family close and loyal. The moment that loyalty starts breaking, her entire system falls apart. Episode 7 could be where she begins to realize that she's not just losing power, she's losing Kanan. And that might push her into making a desperate move to pull him back in. At the same time, Stefano's pressure is only making things worse for her. He's not the type to wait around while things fall apart. If he senses weakness, he's going to act on it. And with Rock already struggling to maintain control, episode 7 could bring a situation where she's forced into a deal or a confrontation that she can't win. That kind of pressure doesn't just affect business, it affects decision-making. And when Rock starts making emotional decisions instead of calculated ones, that's when mistakes happen. Big ones. All of this connects back to Breeze's plan in a way that feels almost too perfect. Because while Rock is distracted by external threats and internal problems, Breeze is building something stable. He's creating connections, building trust, and most importantly, shaping Kanan into someone who can help him hold power once he takes it. That's the difference between taking over and staying in control. Breeze isn't just thinking about the next move, he's thinking about what happens after. And if episode 7 really delivers on this setup, we could see the first clear sign of Breeze stepping into that leadership role. Not in a loud, obvious way, but in a subtle shift where people start looking to him instead of Rock. That's how power changes in this world, not all at once, but in moments where influence quietly moves from one person to another. And once that shift begins, it's almost impossible to stop. So while everyone else is fighting to survive, Breeze is preparing to win. And the scariest part is, by the time anyone realizes what he's doing, it might already be too late. But while Breeze is quietly setting the board, Jukebox might be the one piece that nobody can fully control. Because unlike everyone else, Juke isn't chasing power, she's chasing the truth. And that makes her unpredictable in a completely different way. Episode 7 could be where her investigation finally crosses a line that puts her directly in danger, because the deeper she digs into what happened to Crystal and Famous, the more she starts connecting dots that lead back to people she knows. And once that realization hits, everything changes for her. With Detective Garcia already taking risks to help her, Juke now has access to information that most people in her position would never get. That alone tells you how serious things are becoming. But information is only dangerous if you act on it, and Juke is not the type to sit back once she knows the truth. If she confirms that Snaps and Pop were behind what happened, then episode 7 could push her into making a move that puts her directly in their path. And the moment she becomes a threat to them, she becomes a target. This is where things start to get even more intense, because Juke isn't just dealing with enemies, she's dealing with isolation. The people she should be able to trust are either distracted, compromised, or changing right in front of her. If she turns to Kanan for help and feels like she can't rely on him anymore, that could be the exact moment where their relationship begins to shift permanently. And we already know where that relationship ends up in the original Power: distant, cold, and built on business instead of trust. Episode 7 could be where that emotional break finally begins. And if that happens, it opens the door for one of the most important turning points in Jukebox's story. Because once she realizes she can't depend on the people around her, she might start looking for a different kind of protection. Law enforcement. Not because she believes in it, but because it gives her power in a different way. Control, information, leverage. The same things everyone else is fighting for, just from the other side of the system. And that could be the beginning of her transformation into someone who plays both sides when it benefits her. But choosing that path won't come easy. Episode 7 could force Juke into a situation where she has to make a decision fast: either stay in the world she knows and risk everything, or step into something new that changes who she is completely. And no matter which choice she makes, there are consequences waiting on the other side. Because in this world, there's no safe option, only different kinds of danger. At the same time, Snaps and Pop aren't just going to sit back if they sense that Juke is getting too close. These are people who have already shown they're willing to do whatever it takes to protect themselves. If they even suspect that Juke knows something, Episode 7 could turn into a race against time, with Juke trying to figure out her next move while they're potentially closing in on her. And that kind of pressure can push anyone to the edge. What makes this storyline so powerful is how it connects to everything else happening around her. While Breeze is planning, Rock is struggling, and Kanan is transforming. Juke is uncovering the truth that could expose it all. She's not trying to take control of the streets, but her actions could completely disrupt the balance of power anyway. And that's what makes her so dangerous without even trying to be. So as Episode 7 unfolds, don't just watch the moves being made in the open, watch the truth being uncovered in the shadows. Because sometimes, the person asking the questions ends up being the one who changes everything.